up to this point, one thing that our organization normally preaches is that we need to subject ourselves and respect the laws of the country, respect the judiciary, confine whatever corrections that we are doing within the confines of the law. But unfortunately, our own leadership in our beloved organization do not respect the judiciary at all. If you recall, there was a judgment passed some years back, passed by Judge Situlwane. And that judgment was further even enforced by another order, two orders in the same matter, where the NEC was compelled to reinstate the PC of the Northwest, led by Comrade Supra Mahomapelo and other comrades. Dismally so, they failed to this point. They failed. Now, how do you expect ordinary people to respect the law if people that need to maintain and make sure law is being observed are not respecting the law? As branches of the ANC in the Mahikeng sub-region, we are saying the NEC must reinstate the PC, because it is clear they're in contempt of the court order. And we know when you're in contempt of an order, what's happening. The other issue we note from the statement released yesterday by the spokesperson of the ANC, yesterday, after the NWC meeting, where they noted an issue, Yako Free State, where they say they note that there is an attempt to appeal, or they note the appeal made by comrades in the Free State. They are so quick to note in a structural meeting, but they can't note an order. They can't address an order. So we are saying, and that order, it has led to this confusion that we are seeing around the province. Because if that order was implemented, that order, there was not stability in the Northwest. But in the absence of implementing that order, hence we are sitting in this mess currently. People appointed to structures, people giving roles that they're not deserving to be part of those roles. So you're saying, please, our leadership, implement that resolution. There will be stability in the province. Our fear is now the NEC is contributing to destabilize the province. It's a strong word, I believe, but the NEC is our fear that they are contributing to destabilize the province. And as members, we're the last line of defense. We'll defend our organization, especially in the Northwest, whether you're suspended tomorrow or not. We'll speak out and we'll defend our position. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Mine is very simple, as mandated by the branch of 10, as I'm the sitting secretary of that ward in my sub-region. My name is Tulani Gregory Manga. I was only told that I must speak robustly, that we feel undermined by the NEC as the ward 10 and as the ward that had delegation to the 54th conference that was in Nazareth. The structure has been imposed to us, which is the IPC. That happens to run every wrong thing in the Northwest, and the NEC becomes mum, if one must say. Because we can't say the NEC has noted mistakes done by the IPC. Because now, we have the IRC on top of the REC that we elected in 2017. After the appointment, because they were appointed, Chauke must tell you the truth. He was appointed. He's not elected by any conference. Chauke is just a member that has never led any structure, one must say, and must tell you today, he has no branch that he belongs to. Chauke, that's number one. Number two, we've only learned that Chauke is from somewhere in Guyana by other colleagues or comrades that who knows him in the ANC. But that is not the point. The point here that we are making is that you can't have the IPC that has to come and unite and change the dynamics of the ANC in the province. We can't have the same IPC that condones factions in the province. The IPC suspended the REC of Mahumapelo, illegally so. As per constitution of the ANC, the suspension of the REC lasts for only 2 months. Since the time they suspended the REC without the knowledge of branches, that's number one. They never came back again and reinstated the REC or dismissed the REC completely. But today, no normal law, to be precise, is imposed to Mahumapelo as the IRC coordinator. The question that I want to pose to the IPC is, do we lack leadership in Mahumapelo that will be posed somebody from KK? They corrupt somebody to come here and corrupt Mahumapelo that is not corrupt. Like I said to you, I was told to come and speak robustly. So there's no romanticism. I'm not in generations here. I'm going to speak only politics. So now, you must know that no normal law is leading two structures. No normal law is in the IPC and no normal law is in the IRC. Also, who has ever led two structures at the same time? The IPC doesn't see that as a misconduct. Since the inception of the IPC, their objective was to come and change troikas because they wanted to control. What they wanted is to control. Change troikas of Mahikeng, change troikas of any other municipality. Failing to do so, seeing that branches or comrades in their respective municipalities are intact, they suspended them. This is totally wrong, comrades. But let's leave that one for now. Let me speak on the issue of the SG and the suspension. I also allude to the previous speakers that spoke of the suspension of the SG being illegal. It is illegal. You said to us you are going to come and consult with us as branches because we elected you. You are not important as the NEC. We made you the NEC. So you can't be bigger than us. So what we're saying is we're going to open a case. Now I'm not saying we're going to think. We're going to open a case against the NEC of contempt of court against the peace of the Northwest. There is a judgment. There is enforcement of the peace of the Northwest. The NEC said nothing about the enforcement. So he says to us, the NEC that we chose are criminals. They are criminals. They don't agree with the law. The NEC doesn't agree with the law. If the law says you must reinstate, you must reinstate. So we are going to open a case seriously. We are no longer going to speak to them because they are not friendly to speak to. We are going to wake up in the morning and going to open a case of contempt of court. We are not going to go and speak to them first because there's no internal processes in the ANC. If the IPC do it as it pleases them. So it's very wrong, comrades. Let me not speak everything that I want to say because you'll end up running new members of the media. So let me give somebody to...
Let me take this opportunity to greet leadership of branches, more especially from 35 branches in Mahikeng sub-region. Ours is just a small but a big input to make regarding the suspension of one of our members in good standing in Ward 12, who goes by the name of Supra Mahomapelo. It is our view as a branch that we must contextualize Comrade Supra suspension within a broader concept of African National Congress NEC members paging those who are radically pushing for radical economic transformation within the organization called African National Congress. We are saying this on the basis that if you look at the reasons advanced by the unlawful, again, we are still repeating this, by the unlawful structure called IPC, based on what my fellow comrade has explained from the court order, to say it is the branch that deployed Comrade Supra Mahumapelo to various events in which he addressed. The events including the events in Marezane, the events in Potchefstroom, the events in Delereville. It is the branch that gave Comrade Supra a go-ahead of going and address those particular gatherings. However, we have noted that apart from all those things that we have explained, we even wrote a letter to the IPC structure as a whole, making them aware that they must stop interfering in the branch's affairs, because it is our program of the branch to say we have a program that says we have to visit branch to branch on engaging other branches on political matters. We even said, quoted a constitutional clauses to the IPC, but as we have seen in previous that they don't even themselves comprehend the constitution of the ANC. Surely they just read that letter and threw it out of the window. That letter says the IPC must stop charging and must stop interfering with our program as a branch, because it is us, the branch, that is sending Comrade Supra to various activities. We even mentioned to the leadership, the unlawful leadership of IPC, to say failure for them to do that, we will as a branch take a further step and write to the office of the SG, Comrade Nebe. Unfortunately, we have just heard those news that Comrade Isma has been suspended. Now, that letter, we were sending it to Comrade Ace specifically to show the leadership of the African National Congress that the IPC is abusing its power, as much as the NEC is abusing its power. Because now both the NEC and the IPC are now the constitution to themselves. And we as the branch, we can't allow that. We can't stand by and allow leaders that we have elected anyway. In this case, we are talking about the NEC, to put foot or just to do as they wish with the constitution of the African National Congress. Now, we are glad that before they rashly suspended the most effective and efficient Secretary General this organization has ever produced, the SG's office wrote a letter reversing the decision of the IPC to say membership of Comrade Supra Mahumapelo is in good standing. The last part that we want the South Africans and members of the African National Congress who are like us, who are the radicals within the organization advocating for the radical economic transformation within our lifetime in the African National Congress. We want to say to the masses of South Africa, Comrade Supra suspensions comes at a time when branches of the ANC in majority in both regions are saying, Comrade Supra, we want you to lead the province as the provincial chairperson of the African National Congress in the Northwest Bokoni-Bophirima province. Now it is clear that on the eve, as pronounced by the unlawful IPC, to say the provincial conference will be convened in the month of June, they decided to suspend the membership of Comrade Supra without following proper procedures or constitutional procedures. First, as they requested for them to recuse themselves in several times, together with Comrade Bita Lenkopane, the acting secretary of the ANC Women's League in the province. You can't want to prosecute a member of African National Congress while you, the people who want to prosecute, your hands are dirty with cases of corruption, with cases of maladministration, with cases of plotting to remove the same comrade since from 2018. They have raised issues with the African National Congress National Executive Committee. They have turned a blind eye to the request of the comrades. And as a branches, we are asking ourselves, why is the NEC of the ANC turning a blind eye in the issue of the Northwest, but they are much faster to run to the issues of other provinces, in this case, like the Free State Provincial Executive Committee disbandment. Now, as branches, we see and we can safely conclude that there is a huge campaign of paging of members who ourselves term as the radicals within the African National Congress. Those who cannot be bought by big corporations on their stand to say black people must be empowered without any excuse because poverty is landed, or poverty is among us, the black people who are living in villages, in township, and in small dorpies. Now, in a conclusion, South Africans and members of the African National Congress, we are simply saying we are going to vote and we are going to lobby other regions and other branches in good standing in Bokoni-Bophirima to bring back, determinedly so, Comrade Supra as the provincial chairperson of the African National Congress in Bokoni-Bophirima. That is our stand as the branches. I thank you.
Addressing South Africa. Thank you very much, members of the media, members of the media, and all branches present here today. Our task is very simple. We are here to present our position as the Youth League in Ngakamudrimlema. However, we are with all other regions of the Youth League. Unfortunately, we can't speak all of us. We want to state our point very clear as the Youth League. One, with regard to the IPC, erroneously appointed by the NEC of the ANC, that the ANC have made a serious mistake by appointing this IPC. The IPC that
suffering from political hangover. Apparently, we're not there. Apparently, Supra defeated them somewhere in the 80s and the 70s. Well, we're not there. So these people wants to come and correct, or I don't know, it's not even correcting, wants to come and settle some political scores. As Supra, when was the Youth League, he defeated them and all that. But we don't want to go there. Our mandate of the Youth League, for example, is very simple. It's to rally young people behind the banner of the ANC. But how do we rally people behind the banner of the ANC when the ANC itself, it is failing to champion and fight against the triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and equality? The ANC that is only focusing on fighting on infights of the ANC. The ANC is only dealing with suspensions, running after trackers in the municipalities. You know, at some point when we were speaking, they were said, but why would have the NEC appointed Mr. Patrick? You know Mr. Patrick, the one who's in the IPC. They could have appointed them to go and deal with government issues because of, clearly, they are not focusing on government issues. In fact, they are not focusing on ANC issues. They are focusing on government issues. Now, as the Youth League, we want to send our very clear message to the NEC of the ANC that the NEC of the ANC, we have made a big mistake by appointing these people. We have made a very huge mistake by appointing these people, because these people, the right of the matter is that the people of Northwest are hungry of the ANC. The people of the Northwest want to interact with the ANC. The people of the Northwest want to feel the ANC, but they cannot, because of the ANC is focused there somewhere in fans, somewhere in some restaurants, trying to plot against Supra and other comrades who supported comrade NDZ Nazareth. And it's wrong. It's very wrong. Now, as the ANC Youth League want to send a very clear message to the NEC of the ANC that we have made a very big mistake. And in 2022, we are going to elections. We can't be going to elections with the ANC that cannot hold the center. The center is not holding. The Falcone cannot hear the Falcon. Now, we are pleading with the NEC that please just wake up from wherever you are sleeping. Just wake up. You are making a very big mistake in Northwest. And I want to, of course, as Mulema. Okay, by the way, my name is Comrade Naz Muilwa. Naz. I'm speaking on behalf of the Youth League, part of the ANC in the region. We are speaking on behalf of the Youth League, that of the ANC in the region, that are in majority. Because there are some people who must remember that we are in majority of the population of the country and everywhere in fact in the world. So that is our position. Please, just rethink about the decision that we took by appointing this IPC. This IPC that is led by Mr. Patrick is costing us in the province. It is really costing us. They cannot take us to a logical conclusion, because the right of the matter is that we have to deal with the national question. And how do we deal with the national question with the kind of leadership that we see? Because it is clear they have not went through the eye of the needle. They have went through the eye of the hula hoop. They can't attend to issues that affect the people of the Northwest, particularly branches of the ANC. And among other things, let us give our view with regard to the decision taken by the NWC regarding the Secretary General of the ANC, who have been championing the issue of scholars, because some of us who are from the student movements, who have left us, and we are very happy about the leadership of Comrade Esma Hashu, the sitting Secretary General of the ANC. I mean, the ANC constitution cannot be above the constitution of the country. It can't be. The constitution, it says, innocent until proven otherwise. Now, you can't suspend a person on the basis of allegations, because anybody can wake up and say, he slapped me, he harassed me, he says this and that and so on and so. It is wrong. We can't be having the NEC of the ANC that does that. It is wrong. So as the ANC clicking We want to send our very clear message to the NEC of the ANC. You are not the ANC. You are the NEC of the ANC. Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, that is leading the NEC and the ANC. You are not the ANC. You are leading the NEC of the ANC, elected by us. You were elected by us as branches. You know, the ANC is like a bus. In a bus, we've got people, passengers, and a driver. But a driver cannot drive to wherever he thinks he must drive to. A driver must drive wherever we as branches, as passengers, must tell him that I'm going to stop, I'm going to Limpopo, I'm going to Gauteng, I'm going to wherever. Now a bus driver, which is the NEC in this case, must listen to us as branches. We are telling them that you are making a very big mistake as the ANC. In fact, not the ANC, as the NEC, because we are the ANC, as branches. So you are making a very big mistake by trying to, I don't know, of course I can't prophesy, but I think that the NEC of the ANC, led by Cyril Ramaphosa, it is failing to implement the National Democratic Revolution program. Because the ANC is mum on the land question. The only thing I will speak about is that in Nazareth, we took resolutions. Not only the step-aside resolution. It's not only the resolution of Nazareth. There were many. What is the position of the ANC on the Reserve Bank? What is the position of the ANC on the land question? When you know the opposition, I can't name the opposition party's name. They said, we are giving you our numbers in order for you to have 2/3 majority in parliament. In order for us to implement the resolution of the land question, section 25 of the constitution. The ANC is running. The ANC is running. And it clearly shows that in order for us to respond to the national question of what needs to be done, Cyril must be out. Cyril must be out because he's a driver of this bus, but he's failing to implement, particularly on programs that seek to address the challenges of the working class. Who are the motive forces of the revolution? The motive force of the revolution is the working class. The working class is the poor, the poorest. Those who found amongst the peripheries and the former chairperson of the ANC, Supra Mahomapelo, under his administration, government, he was speaking about the VTSD. And VTSD was very clear. VTSD seeks to champion the interest of those downtrodden masses of our people. To start in rural villages, small dorpies in townships, and small dorpies. But because of under Cyril's leadership, you know, I was reading one post last time. It's under it speaks about the advice that those who must apply must be white, disabilities, whites, Indians, and females. So we're done with affirmative action now as the ANC. And the NEC have not contested, in fact the government have not contested the affirmative action. It means we've got a problem. So as the youth leaking now without waste of any time, we're sending our message to the NEC, to South Africa, because of ANC still in South Africa, that we're not happy with regard to the decision taken by the NEC, with regard to the Secretary General, Comrade S. Makashu, and also the NEC appointing this IPC that is leading us to a political abyss. You know, a political abyss is one very deep hole and it's dark that you can't see. Where you will never arrive. So that is the position of the youth league in Mulema. Also, I must send apologies about Comrade versus Moro. He has to respond to what other matters personal that I can disclose here. But as Regional Executive Committee of Mulema. And by the way, I'm the spokesperson of NAGA. Speaking on behalf of the ANC Youth League, our position is that we're not happy. But it's fine, we'll go to branches. We believe in the revolution from below. We believe in the revolution from below. Because the NEC, they never slept and dreamt and wake up NEC. They were elected by us. We are going to conference in 2022 and we will elect the sober NEC, because this one is not sober, we can see. It's not sober. So it's our position. Thank you very much, members of the media. Thank you very much.
I want to read to the entire South Africa resolution. I want to read to the entire South Africa and the collective of the NEC the resolution that we took on the 54th National